Let me tell you about something that got my interest recently. Magic illusions. You know, those where they saw someone in half or pull a rabbit out of a hat. But not specifically that. After doing some research, watching YouTube videos of people explaining how magic tricks are done, I realized that the stuff is more complicated than just simple illusions. And I wanted to share that in a video. So look at this.
To prove that I'm not using any camera tricks whatsoever to accomplish this, we're going to show you a continuous shot of the helicopter hovering over the ramp of the empty cage.
Go! Now, if you just happen to own a pair of eyes, you'd see that this is just some cheap editing. What might surprise you though, is that this is from an episode of Mind Freak, a show that had 6 seasons and a total of 96 episodes. People really looked at this shit and thought, wow, I really want to see more. It was performed by Chris Angel, one of the most richest magicians in the world, according to some super accurate website. He's also responsible for many other well-known tricks, such as the disappearing elephant, which really is just a bunch of bait actors and an elephant that's just not visible to the camera. See, there's this thing called the too perfect theory, which says that if a trick is so impressive that it defies all laws of physics and there's only one possible way to do it, then it must have been that way, which in this case would be editing or paid actors. And tricks like this aren't difficult or impressive unless you're under the age of 10. Now look at this.
When I deal to the other players, I'm pulling cards from directly underneath the ace.
There was no editing here. Do you know how this is done? It just told you he is dealing the second card instead of the first one. That's not a lie, it's an actual technique of dealing cards. You can also go as far as dealing from the bottom of the deck or even from the middle of the deck. There's no secret. But the difference between this and the disappearing elephants is that this actually takes skill. It's called sleight of hand, which basically means manipulating objects in your hands in a way that isn't visible to the untrained eye. It doesn't have to be cards, it could be anything like balls or rings.
Take the ball, we place it in our hand, we vanish it, and it appears underneath the cup. And that's the way it's done all around the world. You just take the ball, we place it in our hand, we vanish it, and it appears underneath the cup. Here's a little variation Teller came up with, where he takes the ball, places it in his hand, then shows you underneath the cup, yet it still appears underneath the cup.
The reason why I find it so interesting is because when you don't know the trick, it just looks magical. But when you do know the trick, it stops being magical and becomes straight up impressive. It doesn't really lose its magic, but it's not really stage material. Magic tricks that are performed on stage are mostly dependent on paid actors. And that's my 2 cents. Leave a like if you found it interesting and subscribe if you wanna. Bye.
No, I don't care about magic.
30 magic tricks that you can do. How to do 10 easy magic tricks. Mentalism videos.
Lamau. I love magic.